And here's the thing that's so important about it. You will do everything to prove that point of view. And you will put up PowerPoint presentations. You will make sure all the optics line up. So that is absolutely 100% true.
I'll go ahead and let you kick off this one, Breck, because core communications, then the next step in the core series, we talked about core connections and core confusions, in the previous couple.
Yeah.
But core communications is another portal, right? So I'll let you kick this off and maybe introduce what is a core communication.
Okay. So we have a whole core series. It's called the core series. And in the core series are core confusions, core connections, core communications, core constructs, and core defaults. And so today I want to talk about core communications. And core communication, and all of these, everything, but pretty much everything that we talk about, everything that we discuss, are portals, avenues to liberation, to freedom, where you get some release and relief and creativity and a new way of a new pathway. And I'm always saying that if you're trying to prove something, in a career, if you're trying to prove something, you're on the wrong path. If you're creating something, you're on the right path. And people, that's a very subtle distinction, possibly, but it gives people a good optics to look to see if, in fact, they're on the right path, doing the right thing. But everything that we do is about liberation, is about opening something up and giving more, as I said, more oxygen to a situation and more freedom, so that you can make better informed decisions and execute in a more effective way. When you've got clarity and freedom. So different people respond to different portals, obviously, or different metaphors, or different experiences that open them up and deliver something. So I've wanted to come up with an array of enough portals so that people can enter in and go, oh, this really resonates for me. This really responds. This really drives something for me. And this one, not so much. So it's to give people a kind of a just smorgasbord of self-help and assistance in their own liberation. So core communications is just another pathway, avenue to that. So what is a core communication? First of all, it's an actual communication, and people will confuse it with a concept or an issue. Oh, you mean like being obsessive, or you mean like an issue like I'm anxious, and I'm going, no, those are constructs and those are issues, but I'm talking about an actual communication that one makes. And your core communication is a communication that you actually make when you're underwater, when you're triggered, when you're threatened, when you're in a reactive state. This is the communication that you make. And so I always give people an idea, like when your back's against the wall, when you're being pushed, they go, well, how do I come up with my core communication? How do I figure this out? They go, well, just imagine when your back's against the wall, when you're really threatened, when you're really active, what do you say? What do you do? Right? Not what you do, what you say. Right? And mine is, and it's there all the time whenever you're underwater or threatened. And what we're doing is getting more wherewithal. Because the thing about a core communication, and the thing about most things, is people believe the noise in their head. And one of the major pillars that I go over and over and over again, and one of the major pillars of the work is that it's noise, no noise. Meaning that, oh, you have noise or you don't have noise. And what does that mean? That means that inner commentary. And people think that inner commentary is them. That's the essential them, whatever they consider them, their inner commentary they associate with, oh, this is me. And I mean good noise or bad noise, because good noise you're trying to keep around, and bad noise you're trying to get rid of. And I go over that over and over again, because that's such a difficult construct for people to get, that they don't realize No, when there's no noise, that's when you, the essential you, are there, and when there's noise, inner commentary, that's when you're not there. And people go, that's just so counterintuitive. That's like an insane, impossible thing to kind of get. But if you think about, I don't know, Bono singing in front of 60,000 people, he's not remembering his lyrics. He's got no noise. He's not going, I'm crushing it, I'm amazing, or this isn't going well, or da da da. No, that is not happening. That literally isn't, or the Edge is not remembering his, guitar licks, that has to be innate. There has to be, so you're present and connected to the phenomena of what's happening in this outside of yourself, with the stage and what's going on with the people. You're not in your own world thinking how great you are, how bad you are, what's going on, or I got to remember these lines. And that's true for anyone who's truly effective in whatever area. They don't have any noise, good or bad. So when you're essentially there, your genius, your brilliance comes through when there's absolutely no noise. So, but most people associate themselves with their noise. That's when they're there. And that takes a lot of work to get, right? So a lot of work to get that concept, right? Until it moves. And it's got to go from concept to emotional, where you have feelings about it, to something that's organic, where you just live that way. So with regards to a core communication, mine is, I do everything and nobody's taking care of me. That's my core communication. And whenever I'm threatened, triggered, whenever that'll come up. Now, based on all the time and the work and everything else, that's really organic. It doesn't really come up anymore. It doesn't happen because it just, I've worked it enough, right? So it was too obvious, like, oh my God, there it is again, there it is again. And then, and when it came up, for some time, I'd be like, no, this time it's really true that I'm not being taken care of, right? Rather than, no, it's a communication that is being driven into existence. And here's the thing that's so important about it. You will do everything to prove that point of view. And you will put up PowerPoint presentations. You will make sure all the optics line up. So that is absolutely 100% true. And it's never true. So when your head is out of your ass, which I'm equating to no noise, when you're now not triggered, I know on the other side of the tracks, which I'll call the freedom side of the tracks, I know that I'm loved, cared for, and everyone's taking care of me. But when I'm triggered or reactive or threatened, it's I do everything, nobody's taking care of me, right? And I'm going to drive that point of view. I don't care if I have 5,000 people giving me love, money, cash, whatever it is, I'm still driving that point of view when I'm triggered or reactive. So that's what a core communication is. And it's an actual communication. It's actually something you say when you're backed up. So, Brian, do you know what your core communication is?
Just like you, I've worked on it so much that it's hard to remember.
Yeah, which is what I want. Yeah,
which is good. But it's interesting because in career, right? So I'm going through some career stuff right now.
Yeah,
and my communication about career is like, I'm going to blow it, right? and it keeps coming up, and I keep watching it. And it's not really true. I'm making mistakes and stuff, but it brings all those mistakes as if that's the only thing that's happening. Not that there's all this other stuff happening as well.
So that's a core communication.
Yeah. So I have this, I'm going to blow it, and it's showing up in my career at the moment.
And on the other side of those tracks, it's literally like, this is a learning curve. I got a lot of room to make mistakes and learn and develop and everything else. Right. Yeah. So one is conclusive. Nobody's taking care of me. I do everything myself. Right. And one has an open-ended place where you've got some place to go. Freedom has always got a place to go. And when you're in survival, threatened, you're always pinned down. It's always conclusive. And so understanding the difference between, this is a conclusive statement that gives you no place to go. And this is an ongoing open conversation that gives me some place to go. So what you look at is well, what is my core communication?
I got some examples I could read out actually, because I was thinking about, idea. So maybe just read through some examples. So you have yours, which is I take care of everyone and nobody takes care of me. It's not fair. I think that,
that's pretty universal for a lot of people.
Well, kids have that in spades.
Yes, that's
not
right.
Fair.
Yes, right.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
You're not listening to me. It's mine. What's in it for me? It's not going to work out. There's no one like me. You need to show me respect.
Yeah, so these are all examples of core communications just to give people kind of a smattering of, or a kind of multiple choice of what you'd be looking at. Yours is very specific. So we're giving you kind of generic statements, But mine is, someone else might like, no one cares about me. That's different than I do everything around here. Nobody's taking care of it. It's very specific. That's why you use kind of the model of being threatened and triggered. Like, what would that look like? Or your back's against the wall, because your communication is very, very specific. Even subtle things to the change of words or the reconfiguration of the language. So, like one of my friends has don't worry about it. You won't understand anyway.
Forget it. You won't understand it.
Or forget it. You're not going to understand it anyway. So everyone's got it's their own nuances, and why it's so essentially important is because when that is engaged, when that communication comes out, you will drive that communication, and you can live out of that communication. And then if that becomes habitualized, where that becomes, you don't get enough airtime, that becomes your narrative. That becomes what your life looks like.
Yeah, and I love that how that core communication is driving that point of view, right? It's almost only allowing you to see that. It's like when it
is only allowing you to see that. It's 100% effective.
Yeah, it's like the
you will fulfill on that communication. It is 100% effective.
Well, it's like the phenomena of like, I think I want to have a baby, and then all you see is babies, right? Or
I'm going to get a new car. I'm going to get a new car, right?
And you see cars everywhere, right? So it's very similar. That in your life, you have that communication, then it shows up everywhere. But on the freedom side, and then
it's very hard for people to go, well, no, this is actually true. Well, is it, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Did you drive the truth into existence, or was it actually just you? And there's lots of people who take pride in that they've accurately identified the circumstances. Like, no, that's really going on. There's people who have a pathology of thinking they're really good at identifying the circumstances. And I'm saying, well, maybe you're not just good at identifying it, maybe you're good at creating the circumstances. So
I was going to actually pull up one of your quotes, which I really love, which is, we often act out of our toxic behavior and then act shocked at the outcome. I said that? I think you did, maybe a long time ago. I captured it. Wow. Maybe I shouldn't have.
Who the hell said something like that?
I should have put my name against it.
Yeah, Jesus. I can't even remember my name these days. Okay. Anyway,
but what you're speaking to, that it's just, that we're in our behaviors, right? Because we're under threat. And then, we act shocked, like, oh, what? How's this happening?
How did this happen? Right? Yeah.
And as if we're becoming the victim, which is just such a crazy, it's a crazy existence in that way.
Well, I just think that's a really important thing to go, am I accurately identifying the circumstances, or I'm actually creating these circumstances? And, that's an important distinction to live from.
Yeah. And I think
it's like deciding, where do I have something to say and really have some influence about and where don't I have anything to say? And just even understanding that is important.
And I loved what you said about how when you're in that, I do everything, no one's taking care of me. That really, on the other side of the tracks, is that I'm loved and fully supported. You are, and you should be seeing both. You should be seeing the times when you aren't being taken care of as well as when you're loved and supported. But when you're under threat, all you see is I do everything, nobody's taking care of me.
I want to make sure. Sorry, I think you just introduced something that could be confusing for people.
Okay, no, please.
It's anytime, all times that you have that core communication running, it's never true. Because I think you introduced
you said it. Yeah, you said it. But I think that I was trying to say something similar, but you say it very clearly. Yeah, I screwed it up. Yeah,
and now people are thinking, well, wait, is it sometimes true?
There's no erase on this mic, is there?
No, this is just great. So it's never true that when you're under threat and reactive, you have no perception, you have no intelligence. Just like a lawnmower has no intelligence, it'll run over anything that's in front of it. The only person who has intelligence is the person who's pushing the lawnmower to avoid rocks or whatever else that's not grass. Well, it's the same thing when you're under threat and reactive. There's no intelligence. This is a driving of that point of view. It's never, ever, 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 ever true. So that's why it's so interesting to see, when that whole thing where people get so confused by finally that truth came out, because people say something in their fight. Finally you're telling the truth that I'm an asshole. So finally you're saying it. And what people don't know, it's never true. Even that's never true. And they're saying, well, what do you mean that's not ever true? Can someone be acting like an asshole? Yeah, of course. But I'm saying your point of view about it is not true, because you will say anything when you're under threat. You'll figure out what is going to screw and get this person, what's going to like light them up. So it's that's why when your head comes out of your ass and now you're back in love or back connected, you'll go, I didn't really mean that. And people are going, and I'm not saying it's not hurtful. I'm not saying it isn't hurtful and it doesn't have imprint. I'm just saying it's never true, because you'll say anything and it's coming from a reactive state. Like you're being threatened and you're going to say whatever it takes. That is different than, when you're freed up and liberated and you actually speak a truth. So it's all of these things are counterintuitive and icky, hopefully, that, gives people and disturbing, right? And disruptive. You want in the work, when you learn a new language, it's on some level disrupting the one you already know. And that's the introduction of this language, that it's disrupting the language. But then it gives more nuance to your native language. It gives more nuance to what you know. So both of these things, all these languages can live side by side. That's why someone can speak French and Italian and Spanish and German, and they can have multiple languages, and they have different nuances to those languages. Well, it's the same with these conversations. This is another language that should add to your existing languages, right? Doesn't mean it has to contradict. It can work in complement.
And what I love about this particular portal, the core communications, is that it's what you actually say. So I say what we've done today was awesome. It's giving us and all of our listeners a tool to use.
All of our two listeners.
All two of us.
It's basically us.
We still got a couple more to cover, so we'll do more of this. But thank you so much, Breck. We'll pick it up with core constructs when we get to the next one. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
This has been a Gradients production.